it's evolved since I've become a coach. So I always used to think that when I started coaching, people would say to me, why do you coach? What is your why? That's something that I'd never heard of before. I'd never heard that concept before I became a coach. No one ever asked me what my why was. And then I became a coach and that's all I heard. What was your why? What's your why? And I used to be like, what's a why? I don't even know. I've never been asked that before. So my first reaction to that answer was, it's my children. That was what I used to say every time anyone asked me, because I kind of felt like that's what I should say. Now, I love my children more than anything in the world, Teddy and Francesca. Teddy can't even be bothered to sit in here, he's out there on his phone. More than anything in the world. But I realised through the last 12 months that they're not actually my sole why. And I'm so glad that I've come to that conclusion and I've got to that part of my coaching career now. But let me take you back to before. So everyone used to say to me, where did your journey with Beachbody begin? And I used to say it was when I had Francesca. Again, through personal development and being a coach, I realised that actually it started the day I had my son, which was 12 years ago. The day I had my mum, the day I had Teddy was the day I completely and utterly lost my identity. I transformed myself the second they handed me this gorgeous little boy into a mum. Everything about my life became a mum. Now, before Teddy was born, I was the party girl. Matt will tell you. He met me while I was dancing on a bar with a drink in the hand.
That kind of bar.
And I was that girl that would go to the opening of an envelope. I would be at every event. I was always the last one standing. I was always the one begging people to stay out longer. That was how I lived my whole adult life. In the blink of an eye, I became a mum and I had Teddy. And I realised that I have to be a mum now. So that partying needs to stop. And I need to get a serious 9 to 5 to prepare for his future. I need to dress differently. I need to stop colouring my hair funny colours. And I need to be the right mum at the school playground. I probably need to get a 4x4, but Matt didn't allow that part. And I need to dress a certain way and behave a certain way to be that perfect mum. So I spent 4 years of my life having a 9 to 5, keeping a clean home, cooking a healthy dinner, looking after my son, being the perfect wife, the perfect mum, doing everything I thought you had to do. But I was never 100% satisfied, and that guilt killed me that I felt like that. I hated that I wasn't satisfied being a mum. I hated that I wasn't satisfied in my life. But I couldn't work out, oh, the Energizer just taken has kicked in, I've gone all tingly. Okay, I'm going to speak faster now. I couldn't work out why I wasn't satisfied. I couldn't work out why being a mum wasn't everything I saw in the movies. And then we decided to have another child, and I was like, that's what it was. My mum has from 2 children, my mum had 2 children, my sister has 2 children, my aunt has 2 children, Matt's from 2 children. I need 2 children and then everything will be perfect. So we had Francesca. And she's incredible, but I had the worst pregnancy in the world. I spent 9 months with my head down a toilet or on a hospital bed on a drip. I had severe hypertension and couldn't do anything but throw up. I looked like an extra from The Walking Dead for 9 months. And it was horrendous. To top it all off, I lost 75% of my hair while I was pregnant with Francesca. I lost my eyebrows and I lost my eyelashes. So I wasn't looking my best. And then that had a massive impact on my mental health. But I had Francesca. She survived this awful pregnancy. She's one strong little cookie. And I had her. She was 4 pounds 9 ounces, tiny. And 2 weeks after I had her, for those 2 weeks, everything had been amazing. I'd convinced myself this was it. Everything's perfect. I have a girl and a boy. My life is complete. 2 weeks after I had Francesca, my world fell apart. I was taken over by postnatal depression so severely that I was so lost. I could not function. I couldn't understand how I could have everything that most people would dream of, and I was so unhappy. I couldn't understand why I hurt in my core every single day. I couldn't understand why I wasn't brave enough to leave the house. I mean, 12 years ago, I'd been the girl dancing on the bar, singing in karaoke, the life and soul of every party, and now I couldn't open my front door without shaking so much I couldn't put the key in the door to turn it. It completely rocked my world, and nothing my family did, my friends did, could change me. I couldn't understand it. And this went on for months. I do not know how Matt stayed with me through this stage, but he did. And it was just a heartbreaking experience. One day, and I still don't know to this day how it happened, I decided to put this box set of DVDs on that Matt had bought a long time ago that had gathered a lot of dust, and I put them on, and it was the Insanity workout. And I decided I'd put a lot of weight on through this period of my life, and I was going to give it a go. I think I got about 10 minutes done on the first workout without throwing up. And then over the next couple of months, I kept putting them on, and I kept trying to do them. And every single day I put them on, I focused on our guest speaker today, Tanya. I couldn't focus on Sean. There was no way I was there yet. But Tanya, I looked at through that workout every day. And I was like, if she can do this, she's a woman, she has 2 legs like me, she has 2 arms like me, I can do this like her. I am going to be as strong as her. I am going to be a machine. And I worked every day to those DVDs watching Tanya. I worked out hard every day trying to see if I could lift this fog that had landed on my mind. And little by little, every single day, it did start to go. Just from these workouts. Just by putting that on every single day and being consistent, it started to change me. I started to get stronger. I started to smile again. I started to feel brave again. It was at that point in my life that I realised that being part of this community online, by doing these workouts for a young, lonely, lost mum, that formula was magical. That was what I needed in my life, and it saved me. It brought me back to being a mum, to being me again. And I realised then, so Francesca was about 6-7 months old, that I wanted to be a coach. I wanted to share this with other people. That it was my mission to help other people through this formula because I had experienced firsthand how it could change your life. Coaching wasn't in the UK and it wasn't going to be for a long time, so that sucked. So that dream had to change. But on that period, I still put it on my vision board, because I'm a big vision boarder, that I was going to be a coach. I was going to be an elite coach one day. That was the plan. Even back then, I followed every coach there was on Facebook. I don't think I had Instagram then. So I started this journey. I wanted to be a coach. I couldn't be, and I was constantly researching Beachbody every day, thinking, what could I do? I need to be part of this company somehow. I sent Cole many a love letter, begging him just to let me be part of something. I didn't care what it was. I just wanted to work with Beachbody. He still laughs at me about the letters I sent him. I used to spray perfume on them and say they're top secret in just the hope that he would get them. And then I saw online that Insanity was turning into a live format, but only in America. So I got on a flight and I flew to America and I went to the first Insanity training, or one of the first Insanity trainings in LA. And I worked my ass off and I didn't know anyone and I was petrified and I became an instructor and I flew home the first Insanity instructor in the UK and I built this business up with Insanity and I started changing people's lives with Insanity like it had changed mine. And I started to see that magic that I had felt watching Tanya and watching Sean happen to people that came to my classes, but it still wasn't enough for me. I was still working in the corporate world and I was still only managing to help people in my community. I wanted to help people worldwide. I didn't want to just help people locally. I knew this was too powerful and too magical to keep close. More people needed to know about this message. I had to wait 7 years for that message to be able to come to reality. And the day it launched in the UK, as much as I'd wanted it all my life, I was petrified. At this stage of my life, I had 2 children, I was working a full-time corporate job, and I was teaching classes every single night, and I was teaching classes all day Saturday, and I was master training most Sundays as well. I had no time at all. Absolutely no time. But I decided I needed this in my life. It had been a dream for so long. But would my children suffer? How much more could I put on my family? And I took a look back to my childhood, and what I remember of my childhood is both my parents had their own businesses. Both of my parents worked 24/7, 7 days a week. We had nothing growing up. We were my parents were entrepreneurs and they were building their businesses and they worked all the hours under the sun. We didn't really socialise, we didn't go on holidays, we didn't go away at weekends. And I look back at that and I thought, did I suffer? I look back at my childhood as feeling loved, as feeling cared for. I never have a memory of feeling neglected once. And I look at my parents now that travel around the world constantly. They are rubbish for childcare because they're always on holiday. But they have worked their asses off all their life to build what they've built now. They worked hard for 10 solid years to build the life they have now. And I look at that and I think, if they can do this, I can do this with coaching. I can add this on to what I'm already doing. I can give up TV. I can give up my weekends and social events. My children aren't going to suffer. I love them. I'm going to love them so hard through this journey. And I'm doing this for them and our future. So yes, it's going to be tough for a few years. It's going to be hard work, but it will be worth it because I believed in the concept of Beachbody from 7 years ago, and that hadn't altered once. It had got stronger with every product they brought out. So from the day I joined as a coach, I went in really hard on this journey. I consume every single product that Beachbody has, and I love them, that's available in the UK. We could do it more. Yeah. And I love them all. I take them every day. Even on the days I don't feel like it, I take them. My children, what do you love best, Francesca? Beach bars. She loves them. One of the only things she actually eats that's healthy. She loves them. We consume all the products. I do the workouts every day. I take the products every day. And I share every day my love for these products. Every day. And I share it from my heart because it is from my heart. There is nothing false about my love for Beachbody products and what I know Beachbody does. It's life-changing. It's completely changed my life, and because of that, I know it will change others. And I truly believe if you go in on a journey with Beachbody, if you commit to consuming the products and doing the meal plans and doing the workouts every single day, you will too find that connection with Beachbody. And you will be able to share that story from your heart. And then you do not feel like on social media you're selling anything. Then you are telling people and sharing an opportunity that would be goddamn rude of you not to share with people. I believe that it would be wrong of me not to tell other people about this opportunity. I believe that keeping this to myself would be a crime to the people around me. That the worst that can happen when somebody joins up with me is that they get a sweat on in a workout. And there's no reason you should feel ashamed of that. So from doing the Beachbody Vitals, from taking the products, from doing the workouts and doing the personal development, what I slowly started to find and sharing this opportunity and speaking with people and making connections was that I found myself again. And I kind of went back to being the girl I was before a mum. I started finding that sharing on social media and sharing on Instagram stories brought me back to me. I started doing something every day that I loved, that filled my heart with joy. I started dancing on my Instagram stories. Every time I take my Energize, I dance on Instagram stories. Every time I drink my Shakeology, I dance around my room. I sing on Instagram stories. I talk and connect with women every day. I build relationships, true connections, and I'm meeting the most incredible women from around the world that have a passion to change their life. And what I realised was when I started Beachbody, I used to say to people for lip service that my reason was my children. What I found from being a Beachbody coach is that my reason and my why is for me, that I needed this in my life, that I have so much more to offer than just being a mum, and being a mum is incredible. And it's one of the best things that happened. But I am so much more than a mum. I am a woman that is strong, that is powerful, that is a mentor, that is a CEO, that is a business owner, that is a friend, that cares, that shares, that has a story and a journey that she wants to help other people on. I am also an incredible mum. And together, by learning that journey, by having that belief in myself and knowing that have a lot more to give to this world has made this journey so much easier for me. Because now when I connect with other women, the first thing people say to me is, I'm just a mum, I can't do this. And I say to them all, you are not just a mum. Being just a mum is incredible, but you are so much more. And if you want to change your world with this, if you want to change your future and people around you with this journey, you can. Because the word, when we was at the New Leaders Conference in February, we was asked to give a word, and we had to all pick a word that what Beachbody meant to us. And I still remember the word I wrote on my hand that day, and the word I wrote was limitless. And the reason I wrote that was because this is the only career I've ever found in my life that is limitless. This is the only dream that I've found in my life that is limitless. This is the only opportunity that has ever made me feel limitless. I know with this journey that I can create, I can achieve, and I can succeed in anything that I want to, because I truly believe that I am Team Beachbody, that I do bleed blue, and for the rest of my life, this is the journey that I'm going to grow on, I'm going to succeed on, and I'm going to help other women do exactly the same. And together, we are going to completely change the face of the fitness industry in the UK. Thank you.